YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage back. And once again, I've got a Lariel hybrid. Don't worry, this time Tyrion is not in pursuit of domestic abuse. He's not even on the battlefield, but this is actually another High Elf mirror matchup. Well, Eir, why are you showing another one? Well, one of the players that was in the battle, or supposedly in the battle I showed yesterday, it wasn't actually him. And he's like, hey, that wasn't actually me in the battle yesterday with Tidy or Turin. And he's like, but I did have my own build in these that I like, and I'll shoot you the replay. And that's what he sent. And he's actually playing against another player. It's Claw is the player who sent it. And then Felkon is going to be his opponent. So these are two competitive players going at it in a mirror matchup. Let's check out Claw's build here. He's going to have 4 White Lions, and he said that he likes these in this matchup because I always call them the White Lions of trash. He said he likes them because they have some missile resistance, and you can actually see that here. And they do a little bit of armor piercing, and they have some armor. And so it kind of makes them kind of like an all-around unit. He's also got a couple of spears, 3 Dragon Princes, 2 Nobles on horses, and then Alariel also on a horse, and she's got Foz Protection, Earth Blood, the Star of Avalorn. Kind of the basic stuff. Now his opponent's playing as Nagaraith. There is no Alethanar. It's going to be a princess on the Star Dragon, or is that a Moon Dragon? No, I think it's a Star Dragon. I think it's a Star Dragon. I get these wrong. I'm sure someone will get me if I do. There's 4 Illyrian Reaver Archers, an interesting pick, giving them some mobility and some skirmish power. There's a Light Mage on a Chariot, 3 Swordmasters supported by 4 Spearmen. And let's watch how this plays out. I don't have time to do any editing tonight either, so I know recently I've been trying to spoil you all a bit, do the replays that have some of those beginning parts there where I do a little bit of editing, but just don't have time to throw that in tonight. Alariel and her nobles are going to throw themselves into Swordmasters, but it doesn't even stop their charge. And if you all needed any evidence of how hard Swordmasters own White Lions, you're about to get it right here. That dragon's going to drop a breath spell here. This would be beautiful. Actually, I don't think that's a Star Dragon. I think it's a Moon Dragon, now that I look at the color of it closer. I think it's a Moon Dragon. Anyway, yeah, you can see the Swordmaster is just absolutely owning. Alariel's doing some healing to try and keep her troops in longer, but I mean, just look at this. Swordmaster's owning all day long on the infantry fight, and the dragon is going to drop down on the Dragon Princes and see if it can oust them. Not a bad move. If you get rid of the Dragon Prince, it's a big deal, but look at that. Star of Avalorn going to come in and put some serious healing. Those Dragon Princes will basically just sit there at their 43 unit models, but look at the leadership. One of the things you got to contend with up against a dragon is terror. And even though a unit is healthy and fighting and doing tremendous damage, you can still potentially lose to terror. So see what happens here. They get rear charged by these Illyrian Reaver Archers, and the leadership drops just a little lower. And it's just enough. There they go. They get terrified. So terror is a great tool indeed. So Alariel and her noble help do a bunch of damage to these Swordmasters, but they are still very much alive. And you can see the infantry fight, because of the White Lions, is already over. They did do some damage. It's very important damage, but now you're going to have Nagaraith running around with a ton of excess infantry, and they're going to be chasing all these Dragon Princes. Now this was a good catch here. Use the Dragon Princes, catch that Light Wizard on the Chariot, and execute it with the Noble and the Dragon Princes while you have all that damage to bear. So very well done. Here comes a breath attack. It almost kind of looked like the dragon may have been targeting the Noble. It was either the Noble or these Dragon Princes, but not a lot of damage done there. So the Noble got away, the Dragon Princes got away, but again, you can see just huge amounts of infantry chasing. The Princess is in pretty good shape. She's got no way to heal. And over here, these Swordmasters are just going to clean house with the regrouped infantry. So you're going to see some Dragon Princes and Alariel and one of her nobles swing on over here in an attempt to do something about this. Because alone, these Swordmasters are going to cause a tremendous amount of damage. You can see the other Dragon Princes are actually being healed by Alariel here. Man, this game looks so dang good. And the dragon's going to dive down and probably hoping for another potential terror route, and there is infantry support very nearby. So this is an unfortunate engagement for the High Elves. Nagaraith is in the black, right? And the High Elves here. So the High Elves getting an engagement they didn't really want, but the Dragon Princes just double back, go all in. They get an Earth or a Phos protection from Alarielle, which is going to buff their armor and defense. Should be a very nice buff to help them stay in the fight just a little longer here until they can get the extra support. You can see another unit of Dragon Princes swinging around the flank. The nobles and Alarielle trying to get to the dragon. And just look at this, the dragon's making a beeline for safety, but no, trapped by the Dragon Princes. And the nobles and Alarielle will now have a chance to catch up and try and finish off their prize here, which is the princess on what I'm pretty certain at this point is a moon dragon. And there it is, it's finished. The princess is down, and with it the leadership of the infantry just starts to crumble. There comes the Star of Avalorn, and that's right on the noble and Alarielle and some Dragon Princes, and the Nagaraith player knows that the game is up there, so a nice battle between Felkon and Claw here. I know it was the same type of battle we had yesterday, but you got to see two different armies here. They were interesting indeed. I mean, if you look at Felkon's army, I don't entirely understand the Light Wizard. I would assume that you're maybe trying to net something at the right time, or you're using it for the Phos protection. There's other spells in the Lore of Light that are helpful. And the Chariot's pretty obvious because if you end up against a whole bunch of leftover archers or infantry, the Chariot is going to be very good versus that. And 3 Sword Masters, I mean, that's going to be an infantry force to contend with for sure. It's going to take a lot to beat that down. And I think that his army was built around that challenge there, which was, I don't think you can take down 4 Spearmen and the Sword Masters and my dragon, all while being harassed by all this stuff. I think that's kind of the mindset that went in this build. Again, if Felkon's a competitive player, he probably knows how to build better than I do, but that's kind of the way I'm seeing it. It's an interesting build, and I can see how it can work. But over here with Claw's build, I think the important thing was, I mean, his infantry did get trashed very quickly. For the most part, his infantry was shut down by this combination here, and that's not terribly surprising. The Dragon Princes, in the end, were a huge clutch because they were able to pin down the princess on her dragon. And being able to pin that unit down and having the opportunity to even get in and kill it with the nobles, and the nobles do tremendous damage, especially in pairs, and especially when you can combine them with the healing power that Alarielle has, they become very dangerous. That Star of Avalorn is a very powerful item for Alarielle, very powerful, and if it's used in the right place, it can basically flip a battle on its head, kind of like those Dragon Princes. They ended up terror routing. That's a good example of how that battle may have been going in favor of the princess, but that star can flip it on its head. Now, in that case, there was a terror rout. That kind of thing happens, but just saying, you know, it's very good. So I like the build from Claw, like the build from Felkon. It was fun. If you're a competitive Warhammer player, you have replays that you want people to see, feel free to send it in. I love competitive play because it teaches me something, and I get a chance to kind of see how these players who are more serious about the game than I am sometimes like to pick armies, because, yeah, who doesn't like to improve, right? I'm always trying to make myself better at the game too. I think a lot of you are. That's one of the reasons why I make these videos. We want to be entertained. Maybe you learn something along the way, but if nothing else, hopefully you at least get entertained. Anyway, if you did like it, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button. It'll help other people find this. We can make a big deal out of it, help other people come enjoy the videos. And I tell you what, I appreciate you being here. I love making this content for you. I will be back soon with more, so keep an eye out. HeirofCarthage signing out, and I will see you then.